Hello everybody, Sam the Dingus. Just gonna give you a little cruising around tutorial here because I don't know, every once in a while I hit periods where I'm like, what should I be doing with my life? I'm at the point where I have the things I need and I'm just like deciding what I should do, and when I run into places like this, it ultimately just brings me back to the state of creation, which I strive to be in at all times. So cheers for the tragedies. Anyway, it occurred to me that when I was living in Knoxville and I moved to Knoxville, I was trying to start a little parkour community because I was kind of concerned that although I'm traveling all across the world, nobody talks about parkour, nobody knows parkour. I've never met somebody who's doing parkour before, unless we're at a parkour gym. So I want to change the world and try to open up the doors for parkour. Maybe if you're like me and you happen to Google search or YouTube search like Connecticut parkour spots or things like that, like I'm trying to leave the footsteps that I would have wanted to have for my journey behind for the community out there. So I'm showing you guys some Northeast CT parkour spots. These are pretty much local spots for me. It's not that they're like crazy areas, but because I know them well, I know how to use my spots, and you should at least know of where you could go if you wanted to. Spot number one is Fort Shantok, Connecticut. This is outside of Uncasville. It's inside Uncasville, the town, right by Mohegan Sun. That's probably the only reference point you have or need if you want. It's probably like 5 minutes away from Mohegan Sun. So if you're around that area traveling or gambling or whatever, there's a nice serene spot for just hanging out, or parkour if you're into it. One thing's one. In this here parking lot with the parking lot with the playground, we got lots of picnic tables over here, so that's great just for like learning the basic vaults or even just practicing. I might actually want to do that later. My favorite is that right here there's like two, and they're kind of spaced out good enough so you can do vault sequences, like do 2 speeds, come back the other side, 2 speeds, 2 kongs, 2 jumps. You can get spicy with the picnic table, that's what I mean. On top of that, we have a standard issue playground, but please watch my video about how not to get in trouble doing parkour, because, you know, if there are kids around, please yield this area to them, because we don't want to get in trouble, we just want to keep jumping. Am I right, folks? Over here we got more goods, 2 tables, again. Playground has a couple things you can mess with, but honestly I don't really touch it. It does have a good tree right there if you want to learn tree flips, wall spins, etc. This is a nice, good, challenging height to climb and jump off of, about 8 feet-ish. And also there's this random up sticky thing here, which I find is great if you're trying to do simple flips from a small but manageable height. Or if you're trying to do jumps, running jumps to get up there, it's great for me too. Over here we got these fences, maybe 7 or 8 feet apart, if you just want to do some jumps with some good precision sticks. I enjoy doing that here. We do have some good grassy fields here and down there, but I would warn you, there's usually lots of goose poop around, so don't get too invested in the grass here. Also, if you're into longboarding, there's actually a pretty nice hill here. Nothing too crazy, but it gets you good speed and it's nice and winding. In addition to those very beginner and intermediate friendly spots, the very, very basicest, this is probably the most important wall in my entire parkour journey, to be honest. This here Fort Shantok wall has a, sorry, my accent came out there, Tennessee proud. This wall though has a nice variation. If you go left and right, it changes the amount of slope you get. And so that kind of thing is the perfect way to progress into higher flips. And that's exactly what I did, because it's hard to go from something that's like this at one spot and then you go 20-minute away drive and it's 2 feet higher and you're like, now I'm psyched out because I feel like I have to try the other one again. Now that's why this spot is perfect for me and why it helped my dream come true when it comes to front flips. Because I can take a nice 3 or 4 foot drop down here, nice calm and easy spaghettis. And as you move along here, you can work your way down to what I would call a decent front flip. And although those things I've shown you so far are very good, let me show you why Fort Shantok is one of my favorite parkour spots I ever found, much less even Northeast CT. This right here, baby. first things first. There's a bathroom, this building here. So, you know, be respectful. Don't be jumping around too hard that people are scared of us. But there's always a bathroom if you need it, and that's quite a nice thing for a training spot. But just look at this stonework. I mean, you can do basic little hops around here, have some fun ways to get creative, but me, I spend most of my time on this wall. This little structure set right here. I do dinos, trying to go from there up to the top there, bouncing around between these rocks. Any kind of climbing activity is really amazing. And there's a lot of things that I did for the first time here because I never had a good spot for it until I came here. For example, like jumping back and forth between those two walls while you're hanging on to it. So yeah, I've basically shown you guys everything now, and I just want to do training for the rest of my time. So I'll show you some of what I do here. Enjoy the spots.